Hello. Welcome to Glitter Goddess Yoga. I'm working on 2 screens, so it's a little different. Okay. My name is Am, one of the Glitter Goddesses. So welcome to Glitter Goddess Yoga. Today we'll be doing warm flow. We'll explore how to warm up the body when we're feeling cold, breath practice to warm up the body, and just in general, how to move into the body when we're feeling a little chilly, might be a little cold in our house. Shout out to PCL, Providence Community Library, and South Providence Library. I am working on a meditation album, a walking meditation album that will be released over the next month. So stay tuned for that. Of course, because I can't respond to your body in real life, in person, please be really intentional about each pose that you're going into. If something's not a part of your practice or feels like it's too far out into your danger zone, you're welcome to just take child's pose or just lay down in Shavasana. Everything I offer in virtual yoga is an invitation. So if it doesn't feel good for your body, or you feel like it's a little too uncomfortable, there is no need. Okay. Before we get started, I'll invite you to have a pillow and a blanket with you for some extra support, and also some water to stay hydrated. Okay, so to get started, we'll be in a seated position and roll the shoulders back, finding a nice, tall, long spine. And you can close your eyes or find a soft gaze and just start to tap into the natural breath. And as you're here, you can start to slow each breath, slowing down the inhales and exhales. And from here, I'll invite you to bring the right hand to the belly. And as you're elongating your breaths, think about sending the breath down into the belly, noticing the warmth coming from the palm of your hand. Can you send the breath down toward that warmth? And as we're here breathing, you can relax in the throat, in the neck, relax the jaw, even relaxing the tongue. And just focus on bringing as much length and control to your inhales and exhales. And as we focus on the slow, controlled breath, zero in on how smooth it is how smooth that movement is of the diaphragm. So If it feels shaky or gets stuck on the inhales or exhales, try to smooth that out. Work through any pauses that might come up in the inhales or exhales. And just work toward a smooth, slow, and controlled inhale and exhale. And from here, I'll invite you to think about the exhale feeling like a whisper, almost like you're saying, ah, but in a very soft whisper. This is considered the ocean breath, lowering the upper palate and the back of the mouth, constricting some of the air from leaving, slowing down the exhale. While you're here, the diaphragm that pulls in the air to fill up your lungs and presses it up in a way to empty them, massages the vagus nerve, the parasympathetic nervous system, part of that part of our nervous system that allows us to rest and digest. It tells our body that we feel safe. And this exercise warms the body as well. Continuing that slow, controlled breath, longer, slower ocean breath on the exhales. You might notice if it's cold outside or you're shivering, we tend to breathe up here in the chest. So when we bring the breath down to the belly and invite that slow, controlled inhale and exhale, we're allowing the body to warm. We're allowing the nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, to kick in. And we're relaxing the abdomen muscles that tend to contract and shake when we feel cold. And it's nice as well to have the hand here to warm those abdomen muscles, to bring the attention and awareness to the belly, to bring the breath there. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can remove your hand. We'll start by opening up the neck. Just lean the head to the left, keeping the right shoulder down. And we'll slowly, with control, roll the chin to the chest. And then over to the other side, leaning to the right, keeping the left shoulder down. And we'll slowly move to the other side. From here, you can grab the side of your head with your left hand, keeping the right shoulder down and back. Try not to pull here on the neck. There are sensitive neck muscles in the neck we want to take care of. So just let the elbow hang heavy here. And then we'll turn toward the shoulder, grabbing the back of the head. And release. We'll bring the chin back to the chest. Slowly rolling to the other side, keeping a tall, long spine. Once you reach the other side, you can grab with the right hand. Just let the elbow hang heavy. And then turn toward the shoulder, grabbing the back of the head. And let's release. We'll inhale to roll the shoulders up. Exhale, slow ocean breath out. Allow it to be audible. From here, we'll drop the right hand down to our right side, raising the left up and over. Continue that slow ocean breath. We'll move to the other side by dropping the left hand down, raising the right up and over. And we'll come back to center. From here, we'll clasp the hands above our heads. Flip the palms up and open, breathing into the chest, pressing the chest forward, open heart. And as we exhale, let the chest sink down in. We'll do that again, inhaling to press the hands up and away, opening up the chest, open heart, maybe opening up the throat. And on this exhale, we'll bring the hands, the palms of the hands, to the back of the head. And what we'll do is we'll round the spine on the exhale, releasing everything down, bringing the chin to the chest. And we'll breathe slowly here with the hands behind the neck. You can add a little bit of pressure from behind the head if that feels good for you. We also lose a lot of our warm temperature from the back of the neck. So adding some heat here with the hands can be helpful when we're cold. When you're ready, we'll release. Bring alignment back to the spine. We'll send both the legs out long. We don't need a wide straddle, just go a little bit wider than your hips. And first, we'll start off by alternating flex and point. And I'll invite us into a simple exercise, flexing both feet, ankle, foot, toes, engaging in the knees, engaging in the quads. Think about finding that alignment in the hips. This is warming up the legs as we're just contracting all the muscles. I like to do this with the breath sometimes, so we can inhale to contract, tighten in the knees, and on the exhales, release, just let the ankles flop out. Inhaling again, contracting, engaging. Exhale, release. One more time, inhale to contract. This time we'll lean forward a bit. You can send the hands toward your ankles and then release, exhale, round the spine, let the head hang heavy here. We'll take a couple breaths here, just for a moment. And whenever you're ready, roll up. We'll bring the feet together. Here we can press into the feet, give the feet some love. Maybe grab the toes. Pressing into the arches. And while you're here, you can think about opening the hips wide, sending the chest forward, reaching the hips up and back. Continuing to press maybe in between each of the knuckles of the toes. Adding some topical heat. Of course, in our limbs, the edges of our bodies tend to get the coldest, quickest. The fascia, bringing some warmth to the toes, to the fingers at the same time. Adding some friction. And it's not so often we offer our feet extra love and care. So give yourself that opportunity right now. And from here, I'll invite you to take a sip of water before we move forward. We'll meet in tabletop. And I'd like to invite a blanket or a pillow beneath the knees for some extra cushion and support. We'll start by doing some downward dogs. We'll check in, I'm sorry, not with downward dogs, with cat cows. We'll check in with the stacking of our wrists to our shoulders and our knees to our hips. And to start, we'll inhale, pressing the chest forward, reaching the hips back, shoulders down, far away from the ears. And as we exhale that slow, controlled ocean breath, we can round the spine, tucking the chest up, tucking the hips in toward the forehead, pushing the mat away. And you can continue this with your pace of breath. Continuing the slow and controlled inhale and exhale, especially paying attention to the exhale. Really work towards slowing down and smoothing the exhale. And on the inhales here in the cow, you can think about engaging in the lower back as much as possible before you move into the exhale to round. Warming up the lower back muscles. You can maybe wiggle the hips left and right on the inhales. Let's find our last round of breath. And from here, you can take a seat. I like to wedge a pillow if that feels good for you, or sometimes wedging a pillow beneath the feet can feel nice as well, offering your ankles some support. From here, we'll flip the palms toward the body, pressing the hands into the floor, fingers first, opening up the wrists and the forearms. Here's another space in the body. It feels really good to add some topical heat. Warming up the fascia here in the forearms and the wrists. Offering yourself that warmth, a little more comfort, especially before we do some arm poses. And then you can flip the palms to the other side, balling up in fists. And very gently here, just press the ankles down toward the floor. You can spread out the fingers here, slowly opening and closing. Continuing that slow breath. And just shake out the wrists, like we're flicking water off the hands. And we'll meet back in tabletop. Now that the wrists are warmed up, we'll continue to warm up the lower back. So let's send the right foot back, keeping that ankle foot toe flexed, and just raise the leg. Think about finding an alignment between the head, the hips, and the ankle. And again, you can think about engaging in the lower back, warming up the lower back, which is very strong and important part of the core. And if you feel like your body is up to it right now, you can lift a little bit more, coming down onto the elbows, making sure that the elbows stacked with the shoulder. It can feel good to clasp the hands. And just raising the leg, you can think about, again, engaging in the entire leg, engaging in the quad, like engaging in the lower back. You can alternate flex and point here with the feet as well. And if you feel up to it, you can bend in the knee, opening up the hip, leaning into that left elbow a little bit. We'll take our big, deep inhale here. And as you exhale, we'll bring the right knee down to meet the left. Knees close together, we'll send the hips back over the ankles for a child's pose, reaching the hands up overhead. Here in child's pose, we're bringing the limbs close to the body. We can tuck the hands back, maybe under our butts, under our feet, to keep the hands warm, keep the fingers warm. When we're balled up like this and hugging in our body, it allows our body to keep itself warm. Like a big embrace. Maybe you can feel the warmth of those slow ocean breaths reaching the chest or the knees. As we're here, I'll invite you to inhale through your nose and exhale out the mouth, allowing the body to feel heavier on the exhales. Allowing the chest, the knees, the legs to take in the warmth from that exhale. Allow that warmth to regenerate in the body. Let's take a big, deep inhale here. And as you exhale, we'll come back to tabletop. Send the left leg back this time. Reaching the ankle up. Again, finding that alignment with the ankle, the hips, and the head. Keeping the gaze down between the thumbs. We can engage in the lower back. Engage in the ankle, knee, hip, and the glutes. Alternate flex and point. And then on this side, we'll lift a little bit higher, coming down to the elbows. Continuing that engagement, warming up the core. And if your body has access to it, bending the knee, you can open up the hip, leaning a little bit into the right side, lifting that left knee a little bit more, continuing that engagement in the back, in the glutes. Whenever you're ready, we'll drop the left knee down to meet the right. Send the hips over the ankles again, coming back into child's pose. Find that inhale in the nose, slow, controlled ocean breath. On the exhale, out the mouth. We'll take a nice, big, deep inhale here. And on the exhale, we'll meet back in tabletop. From here, moving toward the chest, we're going to send both legs, both feet back, tucking the toes for plank. And in plank, you can have the knees down or the knees up. Either way, we're engaging in the lower back. We're pressing the energy down into the floor with all points of the hands. We're making sure not to sink the hips down or to reach the hips up too far. We're working toward a long, tall spine, engaging in the chest, finding that stabilization. We'll take a big, deep, controlled inhale here. And on the exhale, you can lower the knees if you haven't. Untuck the toes, lower the hips, the chest, and the head. Taking a couple of breaths here against the floor. Let's find that big, deep inhale again through the nose. And when you get to your exhale, we'll press up into Sphinx, stacking the shoulders just above the elbows. We can press the hands into one another. And again, we're engaging in the lower back, pointing the toes, locking the knees, engaging in the thighs, pressing the hips into the floor, reaching the head tall and long, trying to find as much distance as we can between the shoulders and the ears. Keeping the gaze down on our hands. Really being mindful about engaging in the lower back, warming the lower back. We can feel our tummies on the inhales, pressing against the floor. On your exhale, you can release down to the mat, taking a couple breaths here again. We'll take a big, deep inhale again here through the nose. And with that slow exhale, we'll come back up to Sphinx, engaging in the lower back, remembering to point the toes, engage the knees. When you're ready, we'll lower down. This time, stacking the hands just below the shoulders. We'll tuck the toes and press ourselves up into plank. Again, a great modification is to keep the knees down if you'd like. Finding this moment of stabilization here, sending the energy and awareness to the chest, to the abdomen, even down the hips, to the toes. Notice where the tension lies, where we need to hold the tension in order to keep our bodies up. And as you're here, try that slow, controlled ocean breath in and out. If you feel shakiness, this is the same shakiness we'll feel when we're cold. So try to find that control by slowing the breath, isolating the muscles it takes to have that smooth, controlled inhale. We'll take a big, deep inhale like we did. And then exhale, we'll go up into our first downward dog, very bent knees. You can pedal out the legs, pressing the ankles toward the floor, reaching the hips up and back. Maybe engaging more in the chest and the arms, keeping the arms in their sockets. When you're ready, we'll lower the knees down to the floor. And we'll sit back, again, finding that whatever comfort feels good for you, adding that pillow beneath the feet or above the feet. Maybe we'll take a sip of water before you move forward. And when we find ourselves seated here, we'll roll the shoulders back, loosening up some tension here. And when you're ready, we'll press up, sliding our hands into imaginary back pockets. You might need to widen the knees a little bit more before we press the hips forward. And when you feel confident enough in this pose and stable, you can open up the chest more and let the head drop back, opening up the throat. Being gentle here on the inhales. When you're ready, we'll come back down to the seat. Maybe bringing the knees a little bit closer together again. This time we'll send the hands crawling down up overhead, going back into child's pose. We'll reach the hands to the upper right side, stretching that left hand as far away from our bodies as possible, and reaching the left hip down and back, stretching out the lower back, left side body. When you're ready, you can crawl through the middle to the other side, reaching that right hand up and away, crawling it as far as possible. You can reach the right hip down and back. When you're ready, you can crawl back to center. We'll press ourselves back up and find ourselves in a seat. You can remove the pillows and blankets if you have them there. Here, we'll press the chest forward, knees are up, send the hands forward. Holding this pose, you can notice again, you might find that shakiness in the abdomen. Just center in on the breath, trying to make it smooth and controlled. Exercising this often can give you really great control of the breath. can allow us to project our voices louder, to sing better. Finding the strength in our diaphragm and our breath practice can allow us to also warm our bodies up, like I said, in the cold, even when we're feeling nervous or shaky about something. That smooth inhale through the nose and that ocean breath out can really, really be helpful. So let's find that smooth inhale here as we press the chest forward, reach the hips back, and exhale slow and controlled as we stay up, engaging in the lower back. We'll take our next slow, controlled inhale. And as we exhale, we'll lower the spine down to the floor, lower, middle, and upper, and releasing the shoulders into the floor just when you want to feel relaxed. We'll inhale again to roll back up, upper back, middle back, lower back, working through any shakiness we might feel. Exhaling, lower back, middle back, working through the shakiness, upper back and shoulders. One last time. Inhale, shoulders, middle back, lower back, press the chest forward. Last exhale, coming down, smooth and controlled ocean breath. And release down to the mat. Our last pose today before Shavasana, we'll do child's pose. Happy baby. We'll bring the knees close into the body first and hug the knees in, maybe rocking side to side. And I'll invite you again to grab the toes and give them a squeeze, giving them a little bit of heat. And then grabbing the outsides or the insides of the feet. We'll work towards stacking the ankles above the knees, and we're also working toward a flat lower back against the floor. Again, working with that slow and controlled exhale. Feels very, very good in Happy Baby. When you're ready, we'll release out of this pose, relaxing all of the limbs into the floor. For Shavasana, opening the palms up toward the sky. The work in this pose in Shavasana is to do no work at all. So I invite you just to use this moment to feel supported. In this moment, you're 100% supported and held by the earth. As you feel into that, you can use the exhales to relax the head and the neck. Use the exhales to release the shoulders, the arms into the floor. Notice the exhales can allow the hips, the legs, the ankles to feel heavy. Center in the sound of your breath. Feeling present in this moment. Bringing some awareness back into the body. You can wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. You can take a moment, rolling over to one side in fetal position before pressing up to meet being seated to close out for closing breaths. And once you find yourself seated, roll the shoulders back. We'll find a tall, long spine. You can rest the hands on the knees, over the heart, or at heart center. And I'll invite us into our 4 closing breaths. A breath for our ancestors, our individual ancestors that we all bring into our personal practice. Breathing in and out. A breath for those ancestors who were stolen and those stolen from. Breathing in and out. A breath looking toward the winter solstice on December 21st, in the Great Conjunction, breathing in and out. And a breath for the intentions and well-being of everyone practicing with us today, breathing in and out. The loving human in me, blessed the loving human in you. Namaste. Excuse me. Thank you for joining us today. Again, check out the Glitter Goddess Collective Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, shout out to PCL YouTube, and check out all of their other virtual programming happening now. And we also revamped our website, houseofglitter.org, or thehouseofglitter.org. We'll bring you to a section of the Glitter Goddess website so you can check out our most recent projects. Again, I'm raising engagement with these classes for the Walking Meditation album that will be released in alignment with the winter solstice and the Great Conjunction on December 21st. So looking forward to that, and I'll see you guys again next Thursday. Bye.